Well, howdy there, internet people. It's me again. And here, look at what I got. This guy right here. Oh my gosh. So, could never find this again in the stores. There's another one of these situations where, people start kind of getting them. He starts rolling in. You start seeing reviews. You're like, okay, now where's mine? Okay, let me go to Target and see. Okay, let me hang out and camp out in front of Target and then go in and see. No, they never have it. They just don't have it. And you start getting frustrated and you're like, okay, all right, gosh darn it. And you go on Hasbro and Hasbro, it's sold out. And you're like, well, okay, I can't get it there. And you start digging around and suddenly it shows up on Target.com. And you're like, do I dare? No, I dare. And then you do. You dare. You go ahead and you select it. And then it goes, back ordered. You're like, what? Back ordered? So then you sit there and you wait. You're like, okay, I guess I'm never getting this guy. F it, whatever. Don't care. Then all of a sudden, Hasbro's like, oh, did you want this? Because guess what? It's back in stock. Mother puss bucket. And so then I'm like, okay, I will get it. Ding, because Target was like, oh, it's on back order. So then you put it on Hasbro, and you're like, cool. And then you get the notice that's like, Target's like, hey, guess what? We sending you something. Like, what? Make up your mind. You're driving me crazy. I'm gonna lose my mind here, people. So anyway, this thing finally shows up. The Python Patrol Officer. Now, I have some significant issues with this. I know a lot of people do not. I did not have the Python Patrol folk when I was collecting the O-Ring Joes back when I was a kid. So I don't have a particular attachment to these guys. I've said in many a video, so I'm saying it again in case there are newbies. Yeah, so if you want my honest opinion, Hasbro phoned this in. So unless you're like, gots to have my Python Patrol, you're getting this no matter what my recommendation review says. And if you're like, you know what, I'm a completist and this is number 56 on the line, you're going to get this anyway, even if you hate the figure and, don't like it, even though it's like, he's wearing urine for his jacket. So, yeah, we're just going to, get into it. I mean, there's nothing new here you haven't seen, jacked up logos that no one likes, the same stupid whatever this is supposed to be, and, weird Nazi-esque propaganda art. That was very interesting. And, of course, the new C252A hub that these things are coming out of, really good with the apps. They fixed the paint app issues, but the joint issues generally have some sort of issue, and the plastics for the accessories are industrial noodle rubber. It's annoying. So, with that said, why don't we get this Folio out of the package? And there we go. All right. So now he's out of the package. Now, just in like the 2 seconds that I was handling him, I noticed that the joints were not loose and not overly tight on this particular one that I have. It's not too terribly bad. And so I've got a lot to cover about what I want to cover on this figure, because I've been thinking about it since, day one, practically, that he was announced. But hey, let's take a quick peek at his accessories. You will respect my accessory. All right, and now we have the accessories. Okay, they're exactly the same accessories that would normally come with the Cobra Officer, but we will go over them again because why not? It's been a hot minute since the Officer came out, and I personally didn't review it. So here we go. So let's start with the gun, one of the guns. So this is the, I don't know what you want to call this, fake. Let me try to get this to focus again. That's right, man. It's the Battle of Focus. Swear one of these days I'll get around to not having this problem. Anyway, it's essentially a weird AK-47 that has warp issues because, apparently with these new bendy plastics, whew, uh, I don't even know what to tell you. I'm done with the weird ass excuses with Hasbro on this. It's just freaking doofy to have this bent, out of shape gun. It's ridiculous. And of course, the magazine is removable, but who cares too much? Anyway, the only main difference between this one and the one that came with the officer originally is the paint app. So here you get the urine green, diseased urine green color. And then you get this gun that I absolutely hate. I do not like this gun. It generally goes into my I don't give two flips pile for Hasbro accessories. Not even really sure what kind of gun it's trying to be or wants to be, but it is what it is. And it comes with a secondary magazine that could and would fit into it, which is what makes this weapon so awkward, really. Is that when you try to cram it in there, it's like I don't know. It's almost like a German Sten in a way, but it's I don't know. It's just a great big ball of fail for me. It's just an awkward weapon. I don't like it. I don't like it. No, sir, don't like it. And then you get also this really cool. This actually, at least in the original, I really enjoyed. This is this kind of like a sheath holster for the rifle with the Cobra logo on it and this really cool leather texture. It's really cool, but in this case, it's now softer. It's a much softer, squishier plastic than it ever was before. That's very like on brand right now. And then you get the Han Solo laser pistol. I swear it's another German style weapon that they've opted to go for here, and I do actually like this gun a bit. So there is that, and even though it is slightly softer plastic, it's not too terribly bad as the other. So I mean that's a gun I'm definitely gonna keep with him. And this flashlight thing. Now this thing is supposed to go on the fake AK-47, and it will generally peg in this little gap right here. The smaller end goes faces the back, and it will just plug in like so, and you have this once again awkward AK-47. Yay! But you don't have to leave it here. These accessories will actually go on the figure. Then you get the knife, which in this case, again, we're back to rubber. It's just a little piece of rubber accessories. But, at least it's painted. I'll give it that. Not bad. Kind of an awkward shape, really. So let me go ahead and put these on this guy, and then I want to bring out the other officer figure and the trooper figures so that you get an idea of what we're dealing with here and where my issues are and why I think this was phoned in. Okay, so here be the lineup. And what we have is obviously the, Python Patrol officer, regular Cobra officer, Cobra Island trooper, and regular infantry. Or maybe the infantry and troopers mixed up. I don't know. But there are differences on all of them, and we're going to go over the primary one. So let's go officer to officer. Now, I'm going to zoom in just a shredling, and we'll cover this a little bit more. Now, one of the things they changed, the only reasons why I say they phoned it in, is because Hasbro chose not to use the Cobra officer chest and arms. Okay? I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Okay, I'm tired of this stupid thing not focusing. Really annoying. So, the chest of the Cobra officer is smooth and has rank insignia right about there. And the comes with an armband, which also denotes rankage. Okay? And that's something also that's important you'll see in another figure as well. But more specifically, The officer has gloves. Okay. Stupid thing. Okay. Got gloves, and they rotate at the glove. Okay. It rotates at the glove. So that means he's got an extra point of articulation that the regular figures just don't have. Okay. And this figure does not have that. As you can see with this one, you've got a texture on the chest here, and he's got these armored plates for gloves, which you've seen, half a dozen to 100 times on the regular trooper. So the regular trooper has the armored gauntlets and has the textured chest. Okay. So we now know for absolute sure that the standard trooper shares the chest and arms of this officer. Now, what makes the officer in this particular case is the legs and feet. The legs and feet are the same as the officer. And of course, these accessories are the same as the officer. Helmet's the same as the officer. Even I think the head. Yeah. Let's see here. So like the way the original officer was painted, he's got different paint apps on his head, but has the cloth, right? And with this guy, it's the same. It's the same thing, except ethnic or African American, whichever you want to call it, Brazilian. So they definitely used the same head, the same feet, but just skipped the top halves. I'm going to check something here in a second. Let's see if I can get this into view. But you know what? Fine. We'll use fingers. Gosh darn. The hats are the same, but it's hard to tell, and I don't think I'm going to be able to tell on this video at this time whether or not those helmets fan out the same. Because it doesn't, I'm just looking at it from a top view here, and again, I don't think this is going to show up. This fans out more than this. So for the Python Patrol, the profile of the hat is thin. It's very, very squished to the side of the head. But the other regular officer, it fans out, it seems, a lot more, kind of Darth Vader-y. So it seems like they did change things a bit. I don't know if it's because it's softer or the way it was molded. I don't know. But there you have it. And when you're sharing the things across the line here, I don't know, guys. I guess it's just kind of doofy. I know they're course correcting because back in the O-ring days, they accidentally swapped names. Like this was supposed to be the officer and the other one was supposed to be the trooper. They swapped names. And here they're changing that. They're correcting that, saying, oh, no, this was actually supposed to be the officer. And okay, I get it. That sounds correct. But you mess it up if you're going to give us the standard trooper body. Why couldn't they give us the officer? There's no reason at all, except for to suffice to say that you get less with the Target exclusives. Just like with the Python Patrol bat, you didn't get the damaged head. You didn't get the damaged chest plate, right? And so here, you don't get the armband that denotes him as an officer. And you also get it on the Cobra Island Troopers, denote him as, one step above, I guess, regular trooper. And plus he has a couple other things. So, back in the day, that wasn't the case. Everything being equal, if not more, because obviously with the Cobra Island, you also got the goggles. So you actually got more. You got a band and you got the goggles on the Cobra Island Trooper, who was a Target exclusive. But now with the Target exclusive, you just get less stuff. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, since technically speaking, you're paying more than you did when that came out. It just irks me a little bit. I'm like I said, I'm okay with the paint job. From a purely graphic design standpoint, yellow and black is considered a power combination. So he's considered powerful. It pops. But I don't know, guys. It just seems like they could have done a lot more. Like, I don't even understand why they couldn't use this. It would have been easier, in my opinion, to put this pattern on a non-textured surface. You know, I guess maybe they were afraid that it would cover the rank insignia. So it's like, well, if we try to put this stripe pattern on, it might cover the rank insignia and that will just look bad. So forget it. Or, you know, oh no, we'd have to color it. I don't know, guys. I don't know why they would choose to do that other than to be cheap. Because you have an extra point of articulation, different mold, different plastic, I guess. But you use parts from the other, but not the other. That bothers me a lot. And I know most people do not care. And that's fine. You don't have to care. This is my opinion. And my opinion is I care. Because I'm spending my money. And I really wanted to see this particular figure. I wanted this guy to have that extra point of articulation. I wanted him to have these gloves. But no, we don't get that. So what? Are they going to eventually come out with the Python Patrol infantry? And what are they going to do? Are they going to suddenly give him the rank insignia body? Creating a new swap 'em controversy? Oh God. That's going to bug me to the moon. Anyway, that's basically the character. I mean, articulation, do we really need to go over it? Oh yeah, so just want to show you this, at the very least. All the accessories fit, from the flashlight to the magazine, knife, everything fits on the figure, just like in the old days, because, you know, this is a repaint of the old days. It's almost sad that I have to say the old days on a line that just came out 2 years ago. That's sick and depraved, but here we are. All right, look, man, I'm just messing with this thing. Just look at this. This bendy leg, bendy joints. So, you know, they're using really cheap plastics here on these pinned knees. And so now the whole leg just wobbles like crazy. I'm telling you guys, this is, without a doubt, thus far, the most cheapest made figure from this line I have yet seen. They just said, who cares? Just use the same plastic you use for the weapons to do the joints, because who cares? They're not going to care. They're just going to pose them once and stick them on the wall. That's, oh my God. All right, just looking to do some comparisons here. This is the rest of the Python Patrol gang, so to speak. And I've noticed that thus far they're all army builders. So we haven't received a single Python Patrol mainline Cobra character. And of course with the Joes, it's all just mainline characters. But for Cobra, I guess they're just lackeys. And that's fine. So you have the Viper, you have the Bat. You know, I'm just going to say this because I find it amusing to me that they never originally did a Bat for the Python Patrol, and it shows. So here, they're falling back on an original design that had already come out. So there's not a whole lot of work to be done in color design because they're like, hey, we're just going to copy. But with this, they had to start from scratch. I mean, there was no Python Patrol Viper, Bat, so they had to make up the color scheme, and suddenly they decide, well, since the motif has been nothing but gray and yellow, let's put maroon. You know, and everyone else gets like the crosshatch design that's supposedly designed to hide you from radar, and technically speaking, all they gave him was a advertisement logo chest plate with the design. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you just want my opinion, and again, I am not going to say that the figures are terrible in that sense. It's just I feel like they're not even trying anymore. They're just like, you know, they're going to buy it. And maybe it's just a wave. Maybe they're shaking things up. Maybe it's like, you know, hey, we're trying to save money. Let's just, give me some ideas on how we could save money. I know they want to get to 100 characters by the end of the year, and I guarantee you they're going to do it because they're going to just repaint and repaint and repaint to get to 100. That's how they're going to do it. They're not going to give us too many new or original characters. They're just going to repaint us to death. And we will buy them because that's who we are, right? Anyway, moving on. All right, I just want to show a couple other Cobra folk. I know Major Blood, if I'm not mistaken, eventually becomes a Python Patrol. So I thought I would throw him up here as kind of a comparison. And I'm actually curious if maybe this is why they chose. This is an alternative, me apologizing for my opinion. Well, the interesting thing is Major Blood has the same forearm shields in a way. And so in order to create a sense of consistency across the troop, and if they're going to turn him into a Python Patrol, maybe this is why, that there's going to be this sense of, matching up between characters. But I could be wrong, but that would be my only way that I would forgive them for being this lazy and cheap. And I just threw in Zartan in there because why not? In this particular comparison, I thought I would take a look at the other more colorful army builders here. So the Alley Viper and the Crimson Guard, because we're like on totally bizarre ends of the color spectrum here with the bright orange and blue and the blood red against the power urine and black look to it, or vomit and black, bile and black, whichever you want to look at it. It's a very pukey kind of color. I mean, sure, it's going to stand out on the shelf, but oh no, he's got the Python Patrol pattern. Maybe he'll just disappear from your eyes like he does on radar. Anyway, so yeah, more strange army building nonsense. And to think I've probably got 2 more of those coming. It's like, I didn't even want 1, but now I've got 3. Ugh. All right, let's throw them up against some Valaverse, because, you might have to send some infantry commandos to chase after them, or have their door kicked in by this special ops guy. Well, once again, as we all know, even helmet-wise, these guys are just, they stand taller. Not by a whole lot, but they do stand taller. Just kind of unfair, really, if you think about it. It's just, even these guys as army builders are just much better constructed, a little more well thought out in a way, even though they're borrowing the same buck. That's the thing, right? So even though these guys are using the exact same figure base, they look so totally different. But this is not too far from a, I don't know, it's like they didn't do enough of color design to make them so terribly different. But again, I know it's a throwback to the original figure, and that's fine. We do like that. All right, in my final comparison here, we've got Marvel Legends Wolverine and Black Series Boba Fett. And now, taking a look at these, it's interesting. The Boba Fett really kind of matches, even though he's a little bit shorter and a little squattier in comparison. I think he would make a good matchup. And I guess in some ways I can see Wolverine, he's supposed to be short, but he could be leaping up into the air, burying some claw deep into the chest of the Cobra. So yeah, I can totally see that. And that would be a lot of fun too, sniffing them down and chopping them up. Yeah! Disco. Well, yeah, that about wraps up my video on this weird guy. Yeah, when you have an itch so bad, you got to take off your helmet and give it a scratch, because dog will hunt. Yeah, all right. Well, so, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This is probably not the best review of a Hasbro GIJOE classified figure, but I'm just not impressed with him. Again, unless you absolutely have to have him, I would say pass, but if you're a completionist like me, you're going to get him anyway. If you're an army builder, you're going to get him anyway. So there's really just, you don't even need to listen to me anyway. because, who am I, right? But you know what? I'm allowed to be disappointed. I'm allowed to, dislike the fact that he's got more cheap plastic on him than anything else, and you're still spending $24 for $24 depending on where you get them. And you can find other figures for that same price point that don't have such junky plastic on them, but it's just like they're taking us for a ride. And I feel like this is going to be the future of G.I. Joe. This line's gonna end, and we're gonna look back and go, man, remember back in the beginning when they actually made a really good figure until they started figuring out ways to cheapen it, but we still bought it anyway because that's just who we are. Anyway, so I guess it's on to the photos.